from the automotive industry into functional health. She's got a bit of a personal training background. She's got a functional nutritional background, had never had a client before. And without paid advertising or blitzing social media or having to get her and sell her soul on the internet, she's able to enroll her first 5 clients in the 30 days after we launch with her. I'm going to let her tell the story because it's really cool stuff. You guys are want to pay attention to this. Andre, it is great to have you here. And so sorry that it's 80 degrees where I'm at and it's like, I don't know, 32 where you are.
Yes, it is. It is. Well, I'm really happy to be here today, Adam, as well. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to tell my story to the Move, Think, Smile group out here. I'm very excited. I have been very excited from the moment that I started with you guys. And you're right, I completely switched careers. So I have been studying and learning and doing some applying of functional nutrition and personal training over the last 20 years. And it's something that I've been passionate about for a long time, but I've been stuck in the corporate world working in the manufacturing facilities, mostly automotive, during that 20 years. And some things happened in the manufacturing world, some big changes. And I thought, I do not want to keep riding this roller coaster, and I'd rather do something that I'm more passionate about. So I started getting some certifications and whatnot, and I found you guys, and I just jumped. I said, I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to make a change. I want to be happy, and I want to do what I'm passionate about. And so, like you said, within 30 days of launching with you guys, I was able to start enrolling clients, even though I had never had actual paying clients before. And that was so exciting to me. And then, fast forward, 3 months after that initial launch. And I'm able to and did walk away from my corporate career in automotive manufacturing. And I have the privilege now of working with my clients every day and enjoying every minute of it. Absolutely.
And I want to highlight this because when people hear automotive manufacturing, the first thing a lot of people will go to is like, man, was Andrea like on the line with one of those air guns putting engines together? It's like, no. She was the one that was basically running those teams, right? Correct. She's a project manager. It wasn't like some $30,000 a year salary. Like she was up there. She's one of the leaders in the thing and actually doing really cool electrical vehicle conversions in Ford F-450 trucks, if I remember correctly.
Yes, that's correct. Yep. The last automotive place that I was with, we were converting E-450 trucks from combustion engine to running on electric. So very cool.
So super cool, right? You got a cool career. You were making pretty darn good money.
Yes.
And when you have a solid job like that, which I'm going to assume had some benefits with it too, probably.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely.
And what was it that was like, I just don't want to do this anymore?
Honestly, it was the facility before that one that launched it. They closed the doors and moved 3 states away, and I absolutely loved working there. And I thought, I have had to change companies so often, and I'm tired of doing this. I was reaching burnout in that because I had worked, 80 to 100 hours a week, and although I loved it and I loved going there every day, I was getting tired. My favorite part about working in the manufacturing facilities, though, was always coaching and working with the employees that were there to build their careers. And so, if that's what my passion was there anyways, I just wanted to move into something where I could do that more full time and not have to worry about all the other minutia that comes with manufacturing. So it's just following my passion is really what prompted it all.
All right. So like a lot of corporate people, I came from the corporate background a long time ago. But yeah, so you're putting in a lot of hours.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And a little bit of burnout going on.
Mm-hmm. A lot
of burnout going on. And so, but you've got this, and then let's get back to the functional thing, because you said 20 years. So you have been studying, practicing kind of functional nutrition, functional health for that long.
Yes. And that was all for myself and my very close, impact zone that I have of people to just help everybody. I've dealt with a lot of my own issues over the years, everything from cancer to hormone imbalance in myself. And I've always taken the functional approach to it. I didn't want to be on medication. I didn't want to have to go to the doctors every other day and, to do that stuff. So it's something I've always been very passionate about.
All right. So your own personal success story.
Yeah.
You've helped probably some friends and fams in your tight circle.
Yes.
You got a job. It's paying well, but you're burned out.
Yes, that's accurate.
What was it? Was like, you know what? I want to do this functional thing full time.
It was honestly, as I was getting closer to I was just feeling stuck. I was feeling stuck where I was at. And I absolutely knew that I could help people, because I feel great now after everything that I have put into practice on myself, friends and family that I have worked with. And I just honestly had that pull, that calling, that absolute drive to get out there, because we're seeing so much of that in the world right now, right? Where it's just doctor appointment after doctor appointment after doctor appointment, and people are not getting better. They're getting worse. And I want to help. I want to get out there and I want to help people feel better. And just my passion to do that. That is really my drive for it.
And I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't met one person that's gotten into, especially health and wellness. Like, some people will get into healthcare because they see the lure of the money. A lot of people like to help people and they want to do it, but also people see, okay, I can make good money at it too. But when it comes into the health and wellness side, I have yet to meet one person who got into it other than the primary reason being, I want to see people get better. Right.
Yes. And although that is the primary reason, Adam, let's be honest, we all like to make a good living, right?
Yes.
And if you're out there helping people though, and you're able to make a good living while doing that, that feels really good. And I no longer have to invest the, 80, 90, 100 hours a week to make the type of salary that I was making. And I get the fulfillment of seeing people finding better health. They feel better. They have more energy, and all of that is just a really good feeling. I can't stop smiling. I don't know if you can tell or not.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, you definitely don't look as tired as you used to.
Nope, not at all. Not at all.
Awesome. And just to kind of like put some concrete thing, that salary she's talking about, you were in a 6-figure range, right?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. Just so everybody kind of gets an idea of like what we're talking about here, what it took in order to do this. So let's kind of talk about like, okay, so Andrea's got this passion. She's got a background. She worked on herself. She's got some personal training. She's got some functional nutrition. She's been studying for a long time. She's qualified. She's done everything. It's not like she's just making this stuff up and decided to start something. You haven't really, did you ever have a paying client before?
No. Well, I will take that back. When I first started doing certifications, I decided to launch like a little boot camp, right? So I had like maybe 5 clients that paid me $47 for a sugar shutdown, that ran 21 days. Those were my first clients, but that was after I decided to make this jump, But
so you made $235 for 3 weeks of work.
Yes, that I paid $97 for the content to go into it. So I didn't even make that.
You made like $140 or $130. Okay.
Exactly.
You made $130 off that. Okay. But you still had a paying client, right? So
yes,
5 clients, you made 20, 30, $35 off a piece.
Yeah. And that's what the certification program that I was going through told me to do. And I did that. And I was like, this isn't going to work. I'm not going to be able to replace my income with this. Or if I do, I'm going to burn out again. I'm going to be doing entirely too much again.
Exactly. So, you come across us, we kind of chat, and then we did some really, really cool things. And what I thought was really interesting here is your unique scenario, because a lot of people think that you have to have this big following. You have to have previous client or patient success and this email list and all this stuff in order to get out and rolling. And did you have any of that stuff?
No, I did not. I'm not a big social media person. So, I have maybe 200 friends on Facebook, and most of them, are high school friends from 20 years ago. And I'm not a TikTok person. I'm not an Instagram person. No, I didn't have any of that. I did not have an email list of clients. It's not what I had. It's not
Nothing.
not what I had worked on building over the last 20 years, you know.
And what else did we not have? We did not have an advertising budget, did we?
No, we did not. We did not have an advertising budget because, and that was a conversation that you and I had when we first started talking. And although I've made a really good salary, I also have 6 children, and so not a lot of extra disposable income.
Got it. Yeah, I had 2. Wow. That always blows my mind away when you guys have like 4, 5, 6. I mean, we've had clients that have had 10 kids before, and it's just like, how is that even possible?
Yeah. Very carefully.
Very carefully. Very carefully. All right. So cool. So no advertising budget, no following. You got a personal profile with 200 high school friends on it. Mm-hmm. How the heck did we do this? Like, we launched 5 clients first 30 days.
Yeah. Well,
people are like, how?
Yeah. And it sounds like nothing short of magic, right? And that is exactly what I thought. And I'm going to be honest with you. That's what it felt like when it was happening. I thought how is this happening? This is so incredible. But with Move Think Smile and the frameworks that you taught me how to use in that, I was able to actually just launch with my warm network. I used my personal profile page, and you guys showed me how to do that in a very high integrity way. So, it didn't feel icky or spammy, or, I'm still able to have my own personal stuff on that page. And I was able to attract in some of those high school kids that, the kids I went to high school with and other close friends, just using my warm network. It was absolutely incredible.
This is awesome. And just so for those of you who are new to the term warm network, that basically means people who know you. Mm-hmm. They know you already. And so this can be like on Andrea's Facebook profile. These are people, well, they know her because they're her friends, right? They've heard of her before. And then that could also be anybody that you've done paid advertising for and is opted in. You have their email. They've heard of you before. These are people you do not have to pay or use or paid advertising in order to communicate with.
Right.
And I like that you said, high integrity, very ethical way, because there's a very fine line, if you think about it, between mixing church and state.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And you see people all the time using their Facebook personal profiles for like selling 1999 Ray-Bans, or, hey, I've got the latest, thing or gadget, or I've got this. And they really just try and use that as like a giant sales mechanism, right? They use their personal funnel, their personal profile as a sales funnel. And there's a way that you can do it to where you're not selling. You're just kind of letting people know what you're doing. Mm-hmm. Right. And that's kind of like the doorway into your new proverbial functional shop.
Yes, exactly. And I mean, the feedback that I got from that, not only, actually acquiring paying clients that have had massive success working with me, but a lot of support. You would be really surprised at how much support I received off of that from people that I haven't heard from in years that are like, oh my gosh, what are you doing now? Wow, that's incredible. I'm excited for you. I'm happy for you, so it's definitely high integrity when you get that sort of feedback.
Yeah, and I think it's really cool. And like I said, no advertising, really no following, putting together some stuff. And, people are like, well, what did she say? They're like, what did she write? What did she put on her profile? And we can kind of give a little bit of the magic sauce here. I mean, what Andrea did is if you think about marketing, we've got 2 parts to this thing. Or let's actually step back from marketing. Let's talk about, we got to separate marketing from messaging, because I think a lot of people confuse these two. Messaging is what you say. That's the sign that you create to let people know you've got a shop and what's inside if they come in the door. Marketing is where we put the sign, right? They're 2 independent things. And so her messaging focused on 2 things. One, we've got a unique selling proposition, and your unique selling proposition is you help people with hormone imbalances.
Correct.
But
yes.
Is it really unique? No, because there's other avenues for people to deal with hormone imbalances, right? Mm-hmm. But what was that thing that we created? We call it a unique mechanism. It's how you take people from hormone imbalances to balanced hormones that we created. And if I remember right, it's the HER method, right?
That's correct. Yes. Mine is the HER method.
And I can't even remember what the acronyms are. HER, something cool, comes from functional nutrition and functional medicine. And she put that together and started putting that out there. And that's when people started perking up going,
Yes.
Can we talk?
Yep.
Can we talk? Now, let's kind of talk about your pricing real quick. So, we are advocates of first and foremost, getting your clients and patients the fastest results possible, the strongest results possible in the quickest amount of time, while saving them thousands of dollars. And, when we utter the word like $3,000, $5,000, $10,000, people are like, that is not cheap. Well, it's actually less expensive than if you let people deal with their problems in the traditional healthcare system.
Yes, absolutely.
Would you agree with that?
Absolutely, 100%. 100%. Balancing hormones isn't cheap.
Yeah. And so when you came out of the gate, so a lot of people have this, now tell me about this, Andre. Your functional school, when they did like your pricing, it's like, here's how you get clients and here's how you price it. What were they telling you?
Oh my gosh. So if I was going to do personal training, we were talking like, $50 to $75 an hour, right? Okay. To work with them and really, I think they kind of stopped there, except that they would sell you then these content packages that you could put out there and then bring people in for, the $47 per person to work with them for 21 to 28 days on whether it be weight loss or, kicking a sugar habit or just something simple like that. Right. Yeah, right. And that is their main focus of what I was taught. It's just, there was nothing in there about actually using functional medicine or using, all the different components that they actually taught us to go together to create your own approach to it. There was none of that. It was use this cookie cutter.
Got it. Okay. So basically use a content strategy. So you're really selling information versus selling transformation.
Correct.
Okay. You come into Move Think Smile, we're all proponents about transformation, really transforming someone's health for the long term. And, the pricing $3,000 to $5,000, but you didn't start off at that. What did you start off at?
No, I didn't. I started out at $1,000.
Okay. And that's okay because that was what we call her pilot thing. She's brand new to the game. She's been hearing from everybody else out there that you should be selling this stuff for $47,000 or for $47,000, $47 for $47. And what was it that had you start at $1,000 versus just making the leap to $3,000 or $5,000?
Honestly, it was just so that I could gain a little bit of confidence, right? I hadn't actually worked with a paying client for a transformational type program. And so I needed to build a little bit of confidence in myself.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, it didn't take long. It didn't take long at all. I was able to sign those first 5 very quickly at the $1,000, and the transformations that they experienced in that time frame that I worked with them was so much so that it gave me the confidence to say, hey, what I am doing here is actually very valuable. What I am offering is worth more than this $1,000. And I know that I can get, what do I want to say? A better commitment from my clients as well. And so it did not take me long to ramp up.
Awesome. And where are you now?
And now we are at $3,000 right now.
At $3,000. Mm-hmm. Very cool. So for every 5 clients come in, that's $15,000 into the company.
Yes.
Now, this is something else I like to look at because a lot of people out there talk about gross sales, right? That's total cash collected. But they very rarely do you hear people talk about profit margin.
Right.
And this is what's really important. Like, there's a lot of people out there who say, yeah, we can get you $50,000 a month, but they don't tell you that you're going to have a 15 to 20% profit margin. You're really not going to take that much home.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take a lot of work. What is your profit margin? We were laughing about this the other day because you're like, it was 100% or something like that.
Yeah. And so it's really close to 100%, but then you did remind me, I do have like credit card fees, right, that I pay in the background for collecting. And so, we're probably sitting around, 97 to 98% profit margin because I'm still not using paid advertising. So
that's awesome. Yeah. So if you have Stripe or PayPal, that's a flat 2.9% across the board. That means your profit margin is going to be 97.1%.
Yep, exactly.
That's jaw dropping.
Yes.
I want you to go back to the automotive manufacturing gigs that you had because you were a project manager. I'm sure you were part of cost control and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever see that type of profit margin?
No, that's not possible in the manufacturing world to get that type of profit margin. No. No.
And was that possible with, I mean, I guess it could have been possible with the functional $47 thing, but how many people would you, so if you just, your pilot, you made $5,000 the first 30 days because you chose to start there to build up your own confidence. Now you're at 3K, able to bring in the same amount of clients, now $15,000 with a 97.1% profit margin. What would it take to make 15 grand from a $47 thing?
I don't know. You're asking me to do a lot of math that I am not really good at. I like the simple numbers, but you pay anywhere from, $97 to sometimes $297 for those content, right? And then from there, you're charging $47 per person. So you've got to, first of all, eat up that and then go from there. So I'm not a good math person, but I know that you are. And I'm
Well, I'm a good calculator person.
Okay, well, there you go. You have one handy.
I'm a good calculator. All right, so 15,000 divided by 47 is 319.15. So 320. So you would need 320 people every month that come in, right, and spend $47 in order to hit your 15 grand thing.
Right. Well, I would also need a ton of automation behind that to send out the daily emails. I would be creating a lot of content to post. There's so much more that would go into that.
Yeah, so let's take a look at this. Like, what do you like? You obviously you could do that with a paid ad, right? But the likelihood now your profit margin is going to drop like significantly because your price is so low. So you might be having like a 10 to 12% if you're even lucky, because at that rate you have to have super high volume. Or you could take the warm network or organic approach and you could do sweat equity with this. But what kind of time would you have to put into a 30-day period in order to land 320 people?
I don't even know how I would do that. Like I said, I am not a social media person, so I wouldn't even know where to start to bring in that many people. Because like I said, that many people don't know me. So I wouldn't have any option but to go with paid advertising, or, to be posting content on TikTok for like 10 hours out of the day, I guess. I don't know.
Right. And that's kind of like, well, Kiki's interview that I did a couple of weeks ago, where she was that influencer, right? So she spent 10 years building up this audience of like 15,000 or more people, and her wellness practice was just a hobby. So I think what's the interesting thing here, the theme is that the amount of people following you does not make or break your company, right? It's what you do with the people that do know you. And this is why we really like to take this warm network strategy like we did with Andrea. And so far it's been really successful.
Yeah, very, very successful. Yes.
And I like that you said, it seemed like magic beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And why does it seem like magic to you?
I think that, because although there is work that I did on my end to go into this, I didn't feel like I was like, it didn't feel hard, right? It felt like it was easy to do. And so, I'm old school. And so, hard work is what has to happen in order for things to take place and for you to have success. But really, the way that Move Think Smile has this laid out, it just flowed. It flows so nicely. And I learned about messaging and I learned about marketing. And that's what made it feel like magic to me. It came pretty easily. And I learned to do things that I never thought I would be able to do.
Well, this is awesome because, we see a lot of people out there, especially in the health and wellness industry. And I have to say, this industry is not like any other industry out there. And I see a lot of people trying to use the same marketing techniques, the same type of messaging and copy techniques, and it just doesn't land very well. And then what they do is they get frustrated, so they try to hire it out to a marketing agency. It's kind of like what Dr. Ed was talking about down in Miami. He's one of the functional medical doctors that we work with. And we had a conversation the other day, and he's like, Adam, I've had this marketing company. I give them like a couple grand a month. I've been doing this for a year. They just haven't produced any results. And I'm like, well, what are they saying? What are they doing? And they were just out there putting out a bunch of content on their Facebook page and their Facebook group, creating these things, just pumping stuff out. So they were being productive. But from a quality standpoint, they weren't really saying anything that was landing with anybody.
Right.
And the moral of this is like, we really firmly believe that if you're going to have a business, whether you're the business owner or you're the business unit leader, right, you've got to be able to talk the talk.
Yeah.
Because every minute you're there, every person you work with, every client or patient you bring in, you are always marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people just want this easy path. And, you know, I wouldn't call that what we do easy. I would call it very simple.
Yeah.
Because I know that there was a time there when we were working on your unique mechanism, you were a little like, okay, what's this guy talking about?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Okay. That was a little frustrating, but we made it through and I learned a lot in that, you know?
Yeah. No, it's good. It's good stuff. And that's our whole thing. And I also want to kind of jump onto, like, you know, what was your experience like on Inside, Andrea? Like, did you feel like we were accessible, we were available? Did you get your stuff, the support that you needed?
Very much so. You know, I asked a lot of questions and I was able to always get those answered in a very timely manner, you know. In fact, a lot of times I felt like, okay, this probably is a stupid question and I probably shouldn't ask this. And maybe I won't even get an answer back, right? But I asked the question and the response back was always quick and never made to feel like I was bothersome or like there's no reason you should be asking this question. You guys were always very open. Not to mention the support that also comes from, you know, the other functional people that are going through the program at the same time. And, you know, hearing back from them and seeing things that they're doing. But yeah, always very accessible and just real friendly. You know, I felt like I was able to build a relationship even with you and Elia, and I appreciated that very much.
Well, thank you. And that's awesome to hear, because I know there's a lot of people that I talk to who have been burned by other things out there in the marketing and business growth space. And, you know, we're really, and I know you use the P word program, and I'm going to let that slide. It's cool. But, you know, we'd like to exchange the P word for the T word transformation. And not only with your own clients and patients, because you want to make sure they have great health transformations, but we want to transform the way your business is operating. Mm-hmm. We want to take a functional approach with your business, because, you know, we're all taught these integrative methods, these functional methods to get out there and work with people, to honor their bio-individuality, to look at their system as a whole, and to know that the same diet, the same exercise, the same nutrients, the same supplements, they're not going to be the same for everybody. What might be food for one can be poison for somebody else. But when it comes to our business, a lot of us all treat our business the same way, don't we?
Yeah, it's like I said, the cookie cutter method is what is out there, it seems like.
Yeah, and that's what you see. And so it's really refreshing to hear, because, you know, a lot of people get out there and they get burned by these, I guess, high ticket programs that are out there. And we were talking to somebody the other day, and the guy was just super nervous. Like, he really wants help. And he's like, I've never had access to anybody in the program before. And my question to you, Andrea, is like, you know, Ellie and I, we're the founders of the company. Did you have access to us?
Yes, I did. In fact, you guys were there every step of the way, you know, weekly contact, more than once a week contact with you guys, which I actually was very blown away by, because I assumed that I was, like everyone else out there, going to be joining something where it was going to be, you know, a do-it-yourself sort of movement in it, where, you know, I saw this guy's picture on the website, but I never actually met him. And that's not the case. That is not the case at all.
No, you would put something into our support system, and I think my personal average response time was what, maybe an hour and a half?
Yeah, no, that's accurate. Yes. Yeah, very quick.
So unless I was with somebody else, then I would get to it as soon as I was done.
Right.
So maybe 2 or 3 hours.
And that quick response time is how I was able to, you know, within 30 days of launching, have so many people into the program as well, because I'm not sitting around waiting for, you know, 24, 48 hours to get an answer to the question that I'm asking, which means I can move quickly.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, what would you say was like the biggest 1 or 2 aha moments that you could share with somebody, like in this whole process, that it's like, hey, if you've got a functional business out there, you've got an integrated practice out there, you want to take it to the next level, you want to have a high impact thing. What were some of your aha moments?
So there are several things in the program itself that made that click happen. Right. And so without saying a whole lot, but you guys have us do like the guerrilla research, and that is a huge thing, right? So getting through that, understanding more about how to actually do the messaging, which is one of your unique mechanisms, right? Which is the Think Talk. That made a huge difference to me. And just realizing that it doesn't have to feel so clinical, right? Because that's not how people are going to read it or think about it. And that was huge for me, getting to understand that. And then, like I said, realizing the worth that I had to put into my business and what the return on that could be. I think there's something we haven't talked about here that was a big thing for me and still is, because I am still a client of Move, Think, Smile. And that is the mindset stuff, the mindset work that you guys do as well. Ellie is absolutely phenomenal at that. We know that we're good at what we do, but we're always going to have those little demons in the back of our mind, that get in there and try to tell us you can't do that, or you shouldn't do that, or why are you doing that? And within the transformational program that you guys have, that mindset mentoring that happens in there is absolutely phenomenal and was really huge for me.
Oh, that's awesome to hear, because we know that if you're going to go into a business thing, and if you guys haven't seen the live workshop that we did, Integrative Magic, go back and look at that. The very first thing that we launch out of the gate with after we go through does your business have metabolic business syndrome, is we call it, you got to feel the business with grit. And a lot of people hear that term grit, they think of like, you got to be just gnarly, nose to the grindstone, pound the pavement kind of thing. It's like, nah, it's not really what it means. Mm-hmm. If you break it down, GRIT, you got to have the guts. You got to have the courage to get out there and lead people out of the sickness-based healthcare, the old way of doing things, and into something different, which means you got to become a leader. You got to have the courage to do that. R is you got to develop this resilience, and most people define resilience as the ability to get back up when you get knocked down. The way that we deal with it is you don't get knocked down in the first place, especially as a health entrepreneur. Then I, that's intention. Your intention for having this business, for having this practice, for being a functional integrated practitioner must first and foremost be on transforming someone's life. If it is not, if it is on your bank account or on your business growth or on the financials, it's not going to work very well. It just so happens that when you do it the right way, the finances end up being very nice. Would you agree?
Yes, I would agree very much so.
And then it's tenacity, right? That's persistence. It's because the only ones that fail are the ones who give up. And so many people give up time and time again because it just doesn't work. And just because the strategies you have been using haven't worked for you so far, does that mean they can't work for you if you change the way you're doing things? Mm-hmm. And I want to highlight this to everybody listening. If you think about, Andrea, I'm pretty sure you've probably heard this from some of your clients before, people we've talked to. They will come back and say, the doctor said there's nothing they can do, that yes, they've exhausted everything that they have.
Yes,
absolutely. Does that mean you've exhausted every strategy out there? No. So when you hear that from your patients and your clients, you know right away that's not true because they haven't worked with you. Mm-hmm. And so if you start thinking about that with your business, I want to just kind of challenge you to think, is that really true? Or is it just because you haven't gotten the right strategy yet?
Right.
In that mindset stuff, Andrea, would you say that also transfers over into your own work with your clients and helping them change their behavior?
Yeah, absolutely. The mindset strategies that I actually learned with Move, Think, Smile, I implement those into my own transformations with my clients, because it doesn't matter what you're doing, what you're trying to change. So, you and I are talking about changing a business and moving a business forward, but it is the same type of struggle that happens when someone is trying to change their health and is trying to move forward with their health and find that transformation from sickness to wellness. There's still those same things that happen in the back of your mind.
Exactly. What's the number one roadblock from somebody to changing their health for the long term?
It's their mindset and
not doing what I did yesterday.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
Not doing what I did yesterday. And this is why we're big advocates of, when you want to get confident around your process, this is part of the business structure that we work with. So we break things down into business structure. We have messaging, we have marketing and enrolling. A lot of people think if I just get a new shiny ad or a new marketing campaign, everything's gonna be gravy. That's not it. First, you got to set the business structure up. right? Which is what we did with Andrea. So she started from ground zero, and I think we got a pretty good solid structure. But part of that is having, you got to get clear on your offer. You got to get certain on your pricing, but you also have to be confident on your process, right? Of getting people there. And what separates the Move, Think, Smile people, our clients, from the rest of the functional integrative pack is that we really help them integrate psychology with physiology.
Yes.
Because you guys, health coaches, functional nutritionists, medical doctors, functional practitioners, they all have the physiology down. Would you agree?
Yes, absolutely. We know what we're doing. We know
what you're doing. And it's not like there's not a shortage of information. I could look up what's the best supplement for insert problem here, and it's going to pop up, and I can read about it all day long. But how come we still have a health crisis? Behavior change. Because it is painful, the withdrawal symptoms from changing poor behavior, even though it's poor and it's killing me, it's hard to do that. And that's where I think the mindset stuff that Andrea comes in or is talking about really comes in.
Yeah.
Which is super cool. So then let's talk about enrolling real quick, because, we got the structure, we got the messaging, what you say, we got the marketing. So we got the shop, we got the sign, where we put the sign. And I don't think people really understand. And it's interesting. In our client session yesterday, one of the things that popped up is like having that conversation where at the end, you've got to ask for money. You have to make the sale. Unfortunately, it is a sales conversation. And if you want to feed your business fuel, which comes in the form of cash flow and sales, you've got to do that. So what was the big aha moment in the enrolling part, where like having those conversations with people so you can say $1,000, $3,000, $5,000?
Yeah. So the whole section of going through the enrollment process was something that, I had never really even considered the fact that I was going to have to do that, right? And so we get to that point of it, and I'm like, wow, I actually have to ask somebody for money now. Okay, I can do that. We can do this. We can move through it. And there again, and I know I keep talking about mindset, but there is a lot of mindset that comes into play there as well. But working through understanding how to talk to these individuals on a call and how to move them through understanding that where they're at is not where they want to be, and showing them through, visualization and talking about the struggles that they are currently having and what they don't want to be experiencing anymore. And then talking about the things that they do want to experience, or the things that they are missing out in life that they want to have. You guys really do a great job of teaching how to have that conversation so that it is comfortable. And by the time you are done with that conversation on the phone with that individual, there's no problem asking for that money, because they're ready. They're ready to go ahead and give you that money because they want what you have shown them in that visualization.
Yeah, it's all about bringing in the right people at the right price, right? With high integrity, being ethical. So more of them are saying yes.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. We use what we call, it's an empowerment method. And it honestly stems kind of from life coaching. Of course, we've got our own unique stuff in there too, but it's how to have this conversation to where you're not dragging somebody through the mud to the cash register.
Right.
Right. You're literally, you're guiding them. You're kind of like their personal guide up this path of success mountain, and you're handing them a GPS, and they're either going to follow the coordinates and stay on the path or not. And it's getting them to make the decisions that's best for them. And when you do it that way, that's when you can say $3,000 to $5,000 without a problem, because both of you understand that this is saving them their life. This is saving them thousands and tens of thousands of dollars over the next 5 to 10 years from not having to deal with this horrible health or wellness problem anymore. And it's pretty cool stuff.
It really is. And it also prevents you from working with people that you don't want to work with, right? We all have certain people we want to work with and certain ones that we don't.
Yeah, you raise your hand right now if you've ever brought somebody in and they paid you money and you're like, oh, that was a bad decision.
Right.
Yes, we've all been there. Yeah, that's also what's cool. It's like the way that we teach enrolling is like, okay, they want to hire you. First, do they have the problem you can help them fix? Okay, cool. Two, do they understand the truth of the problem of what's going to happen to them? Do they honestly know what's going to happen if they decide not to work with you, or are they just sugarcoating it, trying to normalize it? And then number three, are they cool enough to work with? Like, are you going to love working with them? Are they going to love working with you? If this is going to be a giant triple win, a trifecta win situation, people are like, wait a minute, there's only two people here. It's like, well, no, there's the business too.
Yeah.
Right. So the client wins because their health has been transformed. They're feeling better. They've got more impact and productivity, and they'll be able to do some really cool stuff with the people they love, and they're saving a ton of money in the process. You're winning because your clients you're showing up at a higher level. You're putting in less time. You're not burning out. And of course, the business is healthy because it's got a great profit in the bottom line.
Yes.
Very cool stuff. So Andrea, so everybody watching right now, all the integrative and functional practitioners out there, what piece of advice could you give them?
Oh my gosh. My first one would be stop spinning your wheels. Stop waiting for that next ad to be the one that takes you where you want to go. If you've been doing the same thing over and over again and you're not getting any result out of it, we all know what that is the definition of. So really take a look at your business and, be honest with yourself. Is your business actually healthy? And if it's not, where's the problem? Where's the issue that you're having? Where's the struggle that you're having? Because just be honest with yourself. Take a real hard look at it and know that there's a better way to do it. There is a better way to get through it. And having success in the health and wellness industry is absolutely attainable. It is absolutely there. You can do what you are passionate about. You can help the world out there, your impact zone, your patients, your clients. And honestly, Move, Think, Smile can show you how to do that.
Thank you. So everybody watching, if you'd like to change the trajectory of your business, if you'd like to be able to get out there, you like the idea of getting people to really transform their health in the long term while saving them thousands of dollars, and turning around and seeing that your bottom line is headed up to the top of Success Mountain, and you've actually got the freedom to enjoy that success and knowing that you're having great impact, I invite you to come over to movethinkSmile.com/change. And what you can do is you can schedule a demo to talk to one of our growth specialists. And what they do, it's pretty simple. They'll show you the frameworks that we use with our clients like Andrea and kind of show you what's possible. It's super sleazy and it's super salesy and it's just like hardcore. We're going to lock you up and make sure we take your credit card and you're a personal ATM, right?
No, it is not. It is not. It's very laid back and actually very informative. So it's worth the time to at least take the demo and talk more about your business and what it is that you're trying to do and see if it's a fit. Honestly, they'll be very honest with you if it's not a fit. So
yeah, no, for sure. Like I had a 13-minute conversation yesterday with somebody right away. I'm like, okay, I think you'd be better served by somebody else.
Right.
Exactly. Now, I want to go back to what you were talking about with having a healthy business and this concept of metabolic syndrome, right? So in the world of functional, we know metabolic syndrome is like it's a term that is not even really adopted by traditional sickness-based healthcare. Right. It's a syndrome where the body starts slowing down. We all know what it is, right? But metabolic business syndrome is what we see a lot of people are just like, oh, I'm doing fine. Like, I'm not dead yet. The business, I've got some money coming in and stuff like that. So let's really define, like, what is a healthy business, Andrea, to you? Like, what does that look like to you? You've had a career making six figs.
Yeah.
But was that a healthy career?
No, because like I said, I was burning out. So, I've got the money coming in, but I'm not happy. And, I'm not showing up at my best every day because of that. And that same sort of thing correlates to our health and wellness businesses, our practices. If maybe you have a client coming in here or there, but are you actually enjoying the clients that you're working with? Are you actually having the time available to be able to enjoy your life as well, right? You need a work-life balance. You have to have that in order to enjoy it. And maybe maybe you are bringing in the cash hand over fist and you've got more clients than you know what to do with. But there again, do you have a balance, or are you putting a lot of work into it every single day, every single week? Because there is a better way than that, right? So, I mean, those are all symptoms of a not so healthy health business.
Right. Metabolic syndrome. It's starting to slow down. It's starting to feel heavy. It's starting to not be produced the way it needs to be. And I like what you just said, because there are a lot of people out there that have a lot of clients coming in, that have a lot of cash flow coming in. But they don't have that free time, right? Or the free time that they do have, they're just kind of recovering and they're staring at the ceiling fan going, wow, that was a big day. So they're not really enjoying the free time that they do have, right? Counting the rotations as it goes around. And I think that getting in there and really taking a look at, there's three constraints, and then I'll let you go. But, you've got impact constraints. And that is, number one, are you actually getting out there and having the impact that you could be having? It's not about, part of it's quality, but I want you to think about quantity too. So Andrea is only working with, a handful of people every month, but she's doing it in a hybrid way to where they're getting amazing results and she's not burning out in the process. Right. So she does a little bit of one-on-one, if I remember right. And you're doing a little bit of group, and you're just kind of like, and you're not charging for the transaction and the procedure, and they're not trading time for money.
Right.
Cool. So the impact there. And when you actually impact somebody for the long term, that butterfly effect with their own impact zone increases too. So your impact spreads even more, which is super cool. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I absolutely would. Yes.
Nice. And then we have the constraint of time, right? And typically what we'll see in a functional and integrative space is that either they're so busy with the clients that they don't have time to work on the business, or the business cash flow or profit is so low that they have to spend the time that they do have supplementing the income doing something else. Yeah. And then, of course, that leads to the third constraint, cash flow, which can throw off the impact and the time. And the cash flow, either there's not enough or it's coming in and the profit margin's too low. Mm-hmm. So would you say that we conquered those constraints for you out of the gate so they didn't even happen?
Yes. Yes, I would, because I have not experienced any of those constraints since I've launched and been doing this. My health business is very healthy right now.
Awesome. Well, everybody, come on over to movethinksmile.com/change, and we can kind of see what's possible. Because remember, Move, Think, Smile is first and foremost about tipping the scales from sickness to wellness. So your patients and clients are having amazing results, and your health company is healthy. Come on over to movethinksmile.com/change, and we'll talk soon. Andrea, it's been my pleasure to be your guide on this journey up Success Mountain. We're not done yet, and we'll see you in the next client session.
All right. Thank you so much, Adam. I was glad to be here today.